February 15th, also known as International Bottom Appreciation Day, was first made a national holiday by President Millard Fillmore, who misread it. To his defense, much of the legal documents of the time were handwritten, so mistakes were often made. But that's also how we got Idaho. The holiday first experienced a flourish before the Civil War, where samplers were sent from aspiring lovers to each other with sayings like, "I find you at the bottom of my loving cup," or "sit on my face." Now that one, they tried to cover up with flowers and bees. So it was the flowers saying it to the bees? No. You can still buy them at an Amish store. I don't know if you travel through Pennsylvania a lot, but I do. President Lincoln tried to further cement the holiday into the American fabric by adding a wholesome value element and a ritualistic meal. But again, due to a handwriting error, we were left with Thanksgiving. Which, when you think about it, is sitting around and praising a stuffed bird. At the turn of the century, the holiday fell into obscurity and was not really celebrated again until the Great Depression. At first, it started out in hobo tent towns. Bottom meant the bottom of the soup can, and also ritualistic sex. It then became a party game for the Hollywood elite. Who could forget Joan Crawford's famous bottom ball of 1938? Christina had to clean up that night, too. After World War II, bottom appreciation traveled across the Atlantic to Europe and Asia as American GIs brought freedom and perhaps the worst gonorrhea outbreak in a century. The holiday was made an international appreciation holiday in 1953 when it was brought to the floor of the UN by Eleanor Roosevelt, who just wanted her girlfriend to shut up about it. You didn't know Eleanor Roosevelt was a voracious top? Yeah. Franklin was actually glad for the polio. Again, the holiday fell away, but former member Truman Capote tried to reinstate it in the 60s, but that was because he wanted to send dirty notes to Gore Vidal and Norman Mailer. Side note, the holiday briefly celebrated in Palm Springs. When it was celebrated, the favorite piñata size was Gore Vidal. And all that fell out of him? Ice cubes. Now, if you can drink to that, I'm proud of you, because it shows you've watched movies and you've read books. Politically conscious entertainers like Norman Lear tried to highlight the holiday as an expression of sexual equality. Who can forget that special episode of Maude? Titled, "God'll Get You for That, Walter." Also, the jingle, "I'd like to buy the world a Coke," was originally written about bottoms. I don't know if you know that. And today, we'd like to see the holiday return to its former glory. It's a day of remembrance for those great bottoms, gay or straight, like Pierre Curie and Eli Whitney, General Douglas MacArthur, Edgar Bergen. All those years with Charlie McCarthy was curious. I know. 5 people got it, but I like it. Or remember other accomplishments by very famous bottoms like Boy George and Cole Porter. Perhaps the most famous bottom of all, Jerry Herman. Now, Jerry Herman is a famous fisting bottom. Nobody knows this? It's in every single musical. Every single one. Hello, Dolly, I'll put my hand in. La cage au faux, with you on my arm. Maim, open a new window. That's just facts. I can't argue with it. It's also a day of pampering and gift giving. Bagels have been typically the gift. But David Burka told me Neil really enjoyed that basket of cronuts this year. Oh, please. Famed fashion designer Edith Head used to bake and send her lovers a cake with a thoughtful note that read, "Here's a bunt, thanks for the cunt, love Edith Head." I have one framed in my home. Other gifts to consider this year: cushions, any lower lumbar support. A fancy meal. From articles I've read, poor bottoms are starving. But I'd like to take a moment and thank the bottoms here tonight. You've all taught us valuable lessons about patience, preparedness, understanding. They teach us just because it feels good doesn't mean it is good. And they offer us all an insight as old as the hills. When it gets difficult, just breathe into it. So next year, February 15th, be nice to a bottom, ladies and gentlemen, because a bottom's sure as shit been nice to you.